But were you surprised at kind of where you were coming out of Utah on your depth chart?
I mean, the depth chart was set, based off the off-season workout. So, the coaches they meet about it every day. So, they go in and they review how everyone did. And based on that, they set the depth chart from there. So, I mean, surprised just because you always feel like, you're working harder than, most may think. But at the end of the day, you're always being evaluated. So,
What were your emotions just when you saw the depth chart?
I mean, it was just motivation. You know what I mean? When you see yourself, set back that far, and, you see where you got to go. Your mindset is only on one thing, and that's going to get it. And that's what I feel I did today.
Because you're the kind of the leader of the pack, cornerbacks, the oldest guy, been here the longest. Do you think maybe the expectations for you are to kind of rise above because of that?
Absolutely, and I think that was something that the coaches were trying to instill in me. Just they have high expectations, and I may have for myself. They may see something in me that I don't see in myself. I think it was definitely a motivational tool, and it definitely let me know where I needed to be. That's what it was.
You quit track, right?
Right.
I mean, Coach Golden talked about that.
Right.
So I guess he said he was a little surprised that you quit track and didn't go further than you did in off season.
The plan for me to quit track was, so I could focus solely on football. Right. And I did make gains in the off season. Coming off before I think I was squatting like 385 and I ended up maxing out at 415. So, I definitely got stronger, definitely worked hard in the weight room, and I definitely made the gains in the areas that I wanted to.
How did you kind of come to that decision?
Well, it really started when in practice, I was just like, I think I tweaked my hamstring one day, and then I was just, talked it over with my father, talked it over with my brother, and I also talked to Coach Dean, and we just came to the conclusion, it'd be best still. I just focus solely on football. Simply because, the schedules are so conflicting, because track travels so much. What we're trying to accomplish this season, it's really time consuming.
When you look back at your junior season, what do you think of how you performed?
I think the biggest area that I improved in was tackling. I think what I need to improve in this area is just making more plays on the ball. Forcing turnovers, always being around the ball, and I think that's something that this coaching staff is trying to stress to me at this point.
When you watch game film from the season, do you pick up points in games where you could have made plays?
Yeah, always. Whenever I watch game film, I always look at both corners, including myself, and I always see what I could have done different. Whether it's just writing it down, and I remember those things when I go on the field. Like, for example, today in practice, my main focus was if a receiver catches the ball, I'm getting it out, like, no matter what. I'm going to just keep clawing at it, and just competing like that. You take everything, one thing at a time, every day in practice. You just perfect that.
How important do you feel like the spring is to you in terms of trying to make a move up going into the fall?
Well, it's definitely important, simply because, my senior year, you don't get these practices back. I believe it's 15 or 16 practices, I'm not sure. But these practices are crucial. You go out every day to perfect your skills. So.
Is there also motivation because thinking I have to impress now because there's a boatload of freshmen that are coming in that are probably pretty hungry?
Right. Whenever you have freshmen coming in, they make the transition. As an older guy, I had guys like Brandon Harris and DeMarcus Van Dyke that kind of helped me along the transition. So, there's always healthy competition. And then, when they come in, I'm helping them along the way, just like I had other guys help me. But it's definitely a transition that has to be made from high school to college.